broke into the first house on Risky and got a golden assault rifle. A legendary assault rifle. You really can't ask for much more.
Like I think I just saw a thermal pickup there too. Quite a kit already. Maddie and Tina we watched earlier.
And
dropping down below.
You know how we've mentioned Novi each game? Already the first knock. As they look, and Novi and Noobtra, I'm telling you, every game, Novi and Noobtra have had 2 elims in the opening minute of every game we've played in this heat.
Austin and Catnip securing a single elim of their own. They're still stuck, it looks like, in a 2v1. Flower, that feed is telling quite a story. It looks like 3 teams potentially in roughly the same area. There's Flower, we cut right over to them. Drops smack dab in the middle of the map. Dusty Divot, which is safe for the next zone. A trap deployed in there. Flower and Dre. Looks like picking up a pair there. Well done. Catnip and Austin knocked out in this game 4. That third team, though, we saw Lil 129 get eliminated in the feed. Pritz still alive.
How many elims does Flower have so far?
That team looks like picked up potentially a pair. I believe the team that they eliminated took 129 out.
Okay. So there's Flower taking the time to use a chug.
A perfect time for it, too, early.
Oh, Cowboy's so weak.
TJ's teammate secured the Victor Royale.
I just received some insane news.
Tell me.
There was no Victor from last game. It was tied for the Make It Rain. This one's $20,000. Make It Rain will be for $20,000 this game. And again, if no one wins that, it just carries over to Sunday.
2 eliminations secured already at Tomato Temple here, knocking down as much as they can on the inside. Surprisingly, the Temple, quite a bit of resource there, but I mean, like, to a competitive player, any structure is ripe for the picking. Yes. They're going to pick up every single bit that they can.
Things you would never break.
1 HP there. Dusty and Reload's maybe not realizing that he's literally one shot. Now's the time to push.
Can they not see him in the corner?
They must not be able to. They must have lost him.
They need to harvest the crops, and they'll be able to find their eliminations. And there you go. Now they found him, and it goes on in. Remember, Hero, this duo, they were towards the top of our standings so far. The spray coming on in.
Blind firing, looking for hit markers, essentially, just to see if they can track an opponent through there. Dusty gets the knockdown on JDW, which means Ronan, full HP, almost 96. He's got minis, maybe a chance to pop them.
They're spraying.
They find him. Reloads and Dusty securing a pair of elims there. You just have to blind fire into the corn until you get hits.
And they did it. They made it on through. It wasn't clean. It was not pretty. But you know what? All that matters is the eliminations and the rewards they now have. Minis, a med kit, everything you could want. We saw Ashton and Jack earlier on were in a position where they had no mats and were rotating out of their main area. And guess what? We come back again. No mats as they rotate out of where they landed.
It looked like Bravo and Bartologist had built up relatively high in the middle of retail there, so I don't blame them for the rotation away. But it does make you wonder why so few materials so early. A build fight must have occurred because players like that, if they drop into a house, there's all the furniture, everything there is harvestable. So they have to have had something.
Or they use their mats to just disengage, as you mentioned.
The circumstances to get out must have, it had to be a situation where they had to burn everything to get away.
Kayun and Sean, sorry. Some of our top elims from last game when Kayun had 7 himself. Risker and Dummy just trying to play it smart. Only 2 weapons in the inventory.
Brampie in the feet taking Novi down. An elimination there.
Oh, but Novi did get 1. So we know for a fact Novi and crew have 3. So they've already got a point this game.
There we go. That deploying the glider at any time they want to. You saw Sean building up and just jumping off the flyway. Brampie still alive over here in a kind of a 1v2 situation against FPS and Flame. Oh. Saved himself with that glider redeploy just barely. That would have spelt fall damage previously before 6.2.
Nice shot.
66.
That
and
crit.
An elim secure. That's 2 for FPS. Curious how many Flame has. Could potentially be a point for this team, this duo already.
What I really like about this is they didn't tunnel vision on that loot. They know Noobtra was trying a third party and was looking in from Lazy Links. Instead of dropping it and sprinting to that loot like I would have, they immediately get back to the high ground. You see to FPS basically protecting Flame as Flame was popping the Chug Jug. there forces the player to begin to build, uses that distraction to push on forward, grab a shotgun, grab a submachine gun. Now they've at least got a swap weapon and a good little combination for a close range battle. Ooh, that's the new 6-shooter that was added in this week.
Hip fire, rate of fire, and that thing is incredibly fast.
Crazy.
If you're up close, you can take an opponent down very, very quickly. Crit damage is 60 or more, depending on how close you are, if you're in effective range. A very, very good weapon. Now, that means that setup that he's sitting on right now is almost entirely a close-range setup. 6-shooter, though, you can ADS and take really precise shots at range, but it's still not going to outclass something like even potentially a green AR. It'll do for the time being.
Risker. Dodging, ducking.
Purple double barrel and a green AR is all he's sitting on right now, plus some minis. Super Evan up there in the top left. Looks like Godneck, his teammate, might already be eliminated, and Evan is very low on HP. Frankie and Johan from DK trying to avoid these stink grenades, going to try and edit through any way he can to get out of the damage. And gets baited into Tinny's explosive.
And dude, that's just how good these utilities can be. You force your opponent out of their little protective cover, and look what winds up happening. Johan having to panic, use the rift to go, and I guess that's the play.
It might not be an abandonment yet. He's going to cut back and try and potentially save his teammate by getting a different angle in this engagement, pushing inside the building. Got to watch the windows, make sure they're not going to take a shot through there. But at this point, he's kind of got to bunker up, stay inside, and maybe hope for another team to show up. Team from Atlantis here. We've seen him put on an excellent show. Previous games, we'll see if they can do it again. Stink bomb forcing. Have a retreat there. Stuck in a tough spot there. Going to have to push through his own structures with edits as his teammate Maestro has got a top down on his opponent stuck in the box underneath. Now's the time. You have a forced split. The window edit. More stink bombs.
They have to have a health advantage here. And I love this. Attack from the 2 different angles.
Attack shotgun shots there.
Down onto the Reaper. Will Reaper go down?
Nope. Every surface. Reaper's just turbo build in this situation, going to come in big.
And this is a fantastic use of the clingers. Because they now drop down, that's Double O Flower who gets exploded there. Fantastic job. If they're in 1-1-by-1, you begin to clinger them from the top now, no longer from the sides. The clingers immediately fall when they don't have a wall to climb onto. And just like that, they drop right into the box. Double O Flower has no protection. Nicely, nicely done.
On the left side, just a moment ago, it looked like a rift to go is used for somebody to escape there. Maestro dropping healing for his teammate. A blue AR, green pump, blue 6-shooter there. The 6-shooter as a swap weapon is interesting to me up close.
It's for me, it's very hit or miss. The 6-shooter.
Literally.
Yeah, well, that's true. Everything in the game is hit or miss. But it's one of those things where it's like, at times I fry, other times I don't know.
Yeah. To see here if we get an opportunity for an example of a weapon swap with 6-shooter, this would be a prime time for it. Using that glider deploy, get down to his teammate quick, gather up any loot, picks up the minis, 15 bandages, sitting on a campfire as well. If it turns into a late game situation and they're not forced into other engagements, they're in a good spot in terms of healing resources.
Oh, absolutely.
Immediately there, it looks like to the south, a team rotating towards Tilted. They're going to do the same. The zone starting to move. 1:51.
So the rotations you can wind up playing from Kevin are nuts because you can actually go basically anywhere on the map. The thought process behind it is you land on the islands above, you shoot down, and you make Kevin angry to where he begins to zap you, and when he's like on the verge of about to hitting you, you want to fly straight above him, pop that glider, and he'll just send you way up to the sky. And that lets you float anywhere on the map. Winter and Crashy, we saw them earlier on. 0 elims for Winter. Zone beginning to close. I don't think, have we seen anyone pick up a stone yet? Here we go. There we go. And watch how far they can hit off this crater.
I mentioned this technique earlier. They're going to reposition in a big way. Try and get in as far as they can. Cloak and Tfue built up around this little sports complex here, just west of Tilted, but they're not alone. Mountain and Eternal. Also have Frosty and Vertnex. Multiple teams all around one soccer stadium, which means at some point, A rotation is going to happen where players are most likely going to land here too, just based on the circle.
Yep.
It's smack dab in the middle of the next safe zone. You can see in the minimap, you can't even see an edge of the wide circle right now. It's because it's right in the middle. Teams are going to make moves here. A shot coming from above. Looks like Tfue might have gotten sniped from
I think he got hit by a bolt for 105. That's a tough hit right there.
See if he can spot the angle it came from. It looked like it came from directly like west, maybe a little bit southwest, in the top up on Viking Village.
Now remember, Make It Rain this game is worth $20,000 because we did not have a singular winner from last game. So in the next 10 seconds when Make It Rain begins, this is for double the prize money. Here it is. Who will wind up taking this home? Or will it move on again up into the finals on Sunday? Even more money on the line.
Go. 5 minutes, 20 seconds for $20,000. Cloaks, he's spamming the grenades down below just to see if he can knock some structure out, expose his opponent underneath. They're going to just keep going for it.
10 nades, my goodness. They're not even there. That last one might hit.
Got shots from the side, gets a bunch of tanks, 35. There's no shield on the target, so the call out on Eternal is definitely a get aggressive right now. No shield on the target. The trade out there, Tfue. Getting Eternal, the elimination, which means a 2v1 situation now. Mountain still above them somewhere. Sounds like Tfue is in and catches him. You see in the feed there, Tfue shotgunning Mountain FPS, the second Elim, wiping that team.
And this was from very early on in the game. How Iptre got in this fight. Quick little cleanup on the little Pritz. And as you remember, in the cornfield, just how nuts it was. This is Novi and Noobtra in their original fights. Oh, did he get the res? I don't think he did.
Folks see Tfue both still alive. Looks like a second team has moved in. It's the
Kayun and
Ghost.
Sean. This is a huge battle right here between Ghost and FaZe, two of the most prominent organizations in Fortnite competition. So that's a typical way to retake the high ground. Opponent starts to break your front wall, you ramp, and then edit out the roof. But Sean spotted it right away and matched his opponent's builds. The spray with the legendary, the epic compact SMG. It's going to rip all the shield and health down off the one player. I believe the advantage right now is to the duo from Ghost.
It looked like that player caught off guard inside the box that was dropped down was Tfue, just based on the skin. We'll have to see that though here in a second. Just trying to do any replace. Oh, it's Cloak over there on the side. Tfue is building away. And this has become just a maze of different material types. Players trying to figure out who owns what walls in here, because there's been so many replacements of surfaces and edits that have happened. You can't necessarily tell. So at times you're going to see people these players just replacing everything that they can with their own structures. But that's fine. Look at Tfue's resources. He had over 700 wood, max brick, 400 plus metal. That's insanity.
Yep.
That much material this late in the game. I say late in the game, 58 players remaining, but yeah, that's incredibly common at this point. But he can build multiple bases, multiple rotations can happen here. Tunnels, just establish a relocation. Vic Vicious and Cookie Monster are also built up in there. I said earlier, this is going to be a target for rotation, because now on top of that, it was center of the last circle. It's the edge of this one. We have 2 minutes and 38 seconds left on the Make It Rain bonus. 6 seconds till the circle closes and we see the next location. Crashing the feed, taking out Dramas.
That edit of the ramp that lets you kind of spot right through it is so key. Look at how much information they're getting right now, just peeking on through. Tfue and Cloaksy still just spraying. There's another elimination down on the Crashy. They're on the low ground this time around. Not used to seeing Tfue and Cloaksy in this position.
Rifle maybe going for a sneaks a
Did
grenade.
that sneak in there? Oh, just barely missed. Look at all that loot. You know how badly Tfue wants to try to make a move towards us, and here he goes. Yep, I knew it. It was only a matter of time. Does get tagged on up once they have another rift to go in their inventory. And you saw that? The heavy sniper on the ground as well. If Tfue can live through this moment,
you know he's going to go for it.
This might have all the signs of another great end game.
It's such a big utility piece for this team, too. We've seen it in the past. Multiple teams will use it as a way to bash through and surprise opponents, just catch them off guard almost immediately. The spray from what looks like, is that the gas station
Look
building?
at his materials. 3,000 mats.
Almost max.
He could build forever. They're in a brilliant position now. I don't know if they've grabbed the heavy sniper yet. I think they're waiting to potentially pop the Rift to go. Heals coming on in. They're just chilling for the moment. Zone about to close. Is it Rift time?
Might
Oh, it
be.
absolutely
There it
is.
Coming out.
He'll grab the heavy sniper with it, and they are gone.
From the very edge of the zone. Don't blame him. A good rotation moment.
This is insane.
Potentially a couple teams up top. This is a massive hillside, though.
Oh, yeah.
Which means teams are going to be forced to engage if they're caught on the bottom side of this, because we're getting very close to the moment where the circle is going to start to rotate. It's going to relocate, and so players are going to get pushed off of the side of this hill. It's going to be bad luck if it goes west at all. Anybody that's caught on the bottom of that hill is going to be in a tough spot. We have 36 seconds. The $20,000 Make It Rain bonus for the most eliminations during this time period. And if it's a tie, which we've seen eliminations, obviously you see the feed right now. If it's a tie, this carries over to the next game, the first game of Heat 2.
Oh, is that how it is?
Oh, yeah. So 30,000, which means if it makes it all the way to the grand finals, Jack, it could be an insane amount of money.
Hey, I would not mind as Mowgli by himself just having to play the long game here. 49 players still remaining. Remember, it's that opening start, and then it all just really escalates quickly from here on out. The Make It Rain bonus is over, and now we've entered the late game, folks. Who will wind up reacting in these crazy scenarios best? It's a hillside zone. It's a mountainside zone, which these typically spell disaster for players, as the height difference is just so awkward in a lot of these battles.
If you're here at Twitchcon, if you're watching this at home, do me a favor. In 30 seconds, when this zone starts to move, there are 44 players left. You're going to want to pay the most attention to the feed because there's going to be so much happening. We won't be able to call all of it. You see in the bottom right, some third partying there as players are starting to rotate a little early. Part of the zone is still safe. Players can go for that inside the white circle, just on that northeast side, build up early. That's an opportunity to catch people rotating too. That would be a very traditional Tfue and Cloak play too, is to build up just in that spot. Literally as I'm saying it, look at their position, Jack.
Right there. Oh, they're getting launched on though, or people are gliding on them. Tfue is on the high ground of the new zone, at least for now. He's got to keep watch though of still that top Viking village, and the trap elimination comes on in, and he's rewarded with what he needs, some upgrades for his weaponry. You see the bandages there as well. We'll be able to get back up towards 75 HP.
Decides to not take there's an
can't
epic
do it yet.
Heavy shotgun in there.
Oh.
He chose that. He chose a green pump over the epic heavy shotgun.
This is a straight up build battle right now for Tfue. Looks like he's got the high ground at the moment.
Look at the speed at which they're just layering and layering and layering. And every single one of those builds is reestablished too with multiple walls and floor surfaces. Just so you can't just shoot out one piece. You have to shoot out multiple pieces.
Basically just build battled two people right there by himself. And just like that, Tfue.
66 the crit, 33.
It's back where he always
shield
is.
left.
On the highest of high ground.
Campfire, 2 minis, a full grappler, and still we saw Tfue earlier with almost 3,000 materials, and at that point we just saw he had burnt about 2,000 of it in amidst those fights.
How crazy
200
is that,
plus
man?
builds in a 1v2 situation as he's building up the shots down from above, still just trying to spray out every time. If you have the ammunition to hold down left click and knock out all these structures that opponents are putting up, you're burning through their materials and putting them in a more exposed position because they can't reinforce.
You mentioned if you have the ammo to do it, Tfue doesn't. He's down to 45 AR shots right now. So he's wasting a lot of his resources. Cloaksy's only got 80 as well. They've got to make the most of the end of this. Cloak seems like he's found his little pocket where he wants to begin to slay on out from. Falls back in for the launch pad to take it to the next zone. Frizzable stuck down low. Shots coming in from all different areas. Going to go for the high ground, the quick floor above, and the nice edit at least gets off that low ground for the moment as he'll look to reset.
Korea Nibs, we watched win the last round. Good swap there on Frosty. The shots from Korea gets a double there on Frosty and Bertnex, putting in a 2 eliminations. If Nibs has even one, that's a single point.
Frizzable can't get out. He's took so much damage.
Fast enough, though, to still rotate in. 12 HP, 50 shield. Frizzable taking shots at players that are in the middle of engagements, hoping he can get anything off.
You gotta go.
And he just waited.
Waited way too long. The zone takes him down. Now down to just 19 players left. Tfue and Cloaksy both still alive. Cloaksy only with 62 HP in total. Nice job blocking those shots at the moment. The next zone about to begin now as it looks like Tfue's in another build battle. And you see, in this build battle, Cloakzy stops for a second to try to help knock down his opponent, to give Tfue any help he can get in that engagement. They're back on the high ground again, and Cloakzy's turn now to take this roll and just shoot down on any unsuspecting enemy. Like this.
What a shot. X's from Trouble Boys goes down.
They're always up top. It is nuts, man. They are always one layer above. Look at this.
There we go, the top down. The advantage there is so substantial because as players are building up to try and get a height advantage mid-fight, if Tfue and Cloak already have it, 5 players left. Bravo and Bartnologist going down the zone there.
Villix and Jaganza, I believe, at the high ground now. That should be
Tfue.
Tfue.
The knock on Tfue, which means it's up to Cloak.
6 grenades. Oh, good luck.
Good chance here. Only a little bit. 10 builds left for Villix.
Not a lot of mats.
Dropping grenades in, just anything. You notice he's dropping them ahead of a potential rotation in an effort to try and predict where his opponent's going to move to. Not throwing them directly at it. Villix,
Tfue and Cloakzy down.
Nanolite gets the Elam there. There we go. Villix, Jaganza. Redemption for the 1 HP. Redemption.
The game said, you know what? 1 health last game, you nearly got it. This one, they get the victory royale, and just like that, they most likely stamp their ticket to Sunday as well. Brilliant stuff from them. That concludes the action here from Heat number 1. Down to the wire, some of those games. That one was really as clean as it gets. Once they got the high ground, it was 2 of them. You saw Tfue and Cloakzy were stuck on low ground with not much health. Nanolite all by himself, you really can't expect much.
We saw a number of times these players taking high ground from each other, the swaps back and forth. There's Jaganza, Villix. Just watch it from above.
Again, in the past, it's a strategy on the low ground. You just shoot that down, you knock them to their death.
Yep.
Now you don't even care how, as you mentioned,